In the absolute stillness of the void, before the sun dares to bleed across the horizon, a silent but brutal dialogue begins. Do you hear it? It is not the wind howling through the cracks of a cold door, nor is it the echo of some distant, fevered dream. It is the heavy sigh of your own soul, the version of you that belongs to yesterday. We often delude ourselves into believing that every morning is a fresh birth, pristine and untainted. But alas, the truth is far more sorrowful. When your eyes open to stare at the empty void of the ceiling, you are not alone. Lying beside you, pressing down with suffocating weight upon your chest, is the corpse of the man you were. He is there, the ghost of yesterday. He carries the stale scent of old procrastination, draped in a heavy shroud woven from forgotten promises and opportunities that were incinerated in the fires of sloth. He whispers into your ear, a melody of sweet poison. Rest a while longer. The world out there is full of suffering. Only here is there warmth. You failed yesterday. What makes you think today will be any different? This is the greatest tragedy of the human condition. We do not wage war against monsters of flesh and bone, nor do we face legions of iron and steel upon a blood-soaked battlefield. Our greatest, most ruthless enemy is the shadow of our own past, clinging desperately to our heels. It is the manifestation of every weakness we have tolerated, the sum of every moment we bowed our heads in submission to comfort. Look into the glass. That face reflected in the cold mirror, those weary eyes. What story do they tell? Is it the legend of a warrior emerging from the smoke of tribulation, or is it the defeated gaze of a prisoner locked within a jail of his own design? With every day that passes without resistance, that ghost grows an inch taller. It leeches your vitality, turning your burning ambitions into cold, gray ash. It transforms you into a sleepwalker, wandering through the realm of the living while your spirit has long since begun to rot. The comfort of yesterday is the grave of tomorrow's glory. You carry the burden of memory, but instead of forging it into a sword of will, you allow it to become the shackles that bind your feet. Listen to the beating in your chest. Is it a war drum, or is it the countdown to your own decay? If you do not rise, if you do not seize the weapon of awareness to slay the weakling of yesterday in this very instant, then today is nothing more than a prolonged funeral. The battlefield is not a distant land mapped by geographers, nor is it a future promised by prophets. The battlefield is here. It is now. It is the razor-thin line between the second you awaken and the second you place your foot upon the cold, unforgiving floor. Welcome to the arena of now. Here, there are no spectators to applaud your valor. There are no poets to sing of your struggle. There is only the deafening silence of your own will clashing against the inertia of your flesh. It is a primitive, violent collision. Why does it hurt so much? You ask this as you tremble on the edge of action. It hurts because you are tearing yourself away from the womb of comfort. The world offers you 1,000 seductions. The warmth of the sheets, the numbness of distraction, the sweet, rotting nectar of good enough. These are not gifts. They are chains painted in gold. They are the sirens calling sailors to crash upon the rocks of mediocrity. To choose the hard path in this precise moment is an act of self-mutilation. You must be willing to cut away the part of you that craves safety. You must become both the sculptor and the marble, the hammer and the anvil. Do you think the marble does not scream when the chisel strikes? Do you think the iron does not weep when it is thrust into the furnace? Pain, my friend, is not an accident. Pain is the price of admission to the realm of greatness. It is the universe verifying your intent. If it were easy, the weak would possess it, and it would lose all value. The agony you feel in your muscles, the resistance in your mind, this is not a sign to stop. It is the only evidence that you are actually alive. Most men live in a state of anesthesia. They float through the hours, avoiding the sharp edges of reality, seeking only to be entertained until they expire. But you have chosen to step into the ring. In this arena, time is not measured in years. but in micro-decisions. Every time you choose silence over noise, action over delay, strain over ease, you strike a blow against the chaos. It is a bloody business. It is a daily crucifixion of the ego. Do not look for peace here. Peace is for the graveyard. Here, in the arena of now, there is only the sweat of the soul and the grinding of teeth. But know this, it is only in this crucible of pressure that the carbon of your existence can ever hope to become a diamond. Stand up. The bell has already rung. The air is thick with the dust of battle. Your opponent, your lower self, is waiting. Strike him down before he convinces you to surrender. You stand amidst the clamor of the arena, the dust of your inner conflict swirling around your ankles. But tell me, warrior, with what shall you fight? Will you rely on the fleeting sparks of motivation? Motivation is a fickle mistress. She visits you only when the sun shines and abandons you the moment the storm clouds gather. To rely on her is to build a fortress upon shifting sands. No, you need steel. You need weapons forged in the fires of necessity, heavy enough to crush the skull of resistance. Your first weapon is the cold iron of discipline. Do not mistake this for punishment. It is the highest form of self-love, yet it wears a mask of cruelty. It is the chain you willingly bind around your own wrists, so that you may not flee when the terror of effort strikes. It is the ability to give an order to yourself and obey it like a dog, regardless of your feelings. Feelings are for children. Duty is for kings. When your muscles scream stop, discipline whispers, one more. It is the unsentimental rhythm of the hammer striking the anvil, day after endless day. Your second weapon is the blade of deep solitude. The world outside is a cacophony of madness. It screams for your attention, begging you to look, to click, to consume. It wants to dilute your spirit into 1,000 meaningless fragments. You must unsheathe the blade of focus and sever the tongue of the world. Retreat into the fortress of your own mind. It is in the silence, in the terrifying void of deep work, that you find your true power. A man who cannot sit alone in a room with his thoughts is a slave. A man who can command his focus is a god in the making. And finally, the ultimate weapon, the one that turns defense into offense. Amor Fati, the love of fate. This is the alchemy of the soul. Do not merely endure the pain, embrace it. Do not just bear the cross. Love the weight of it upon your shoulder. When the universe throws suffering at your feet, do not weep. Pick it up and say, this is what I needed. Treat every failure as fuel, every insult as a whetstone to sharpen your resolve. The fire that consumes the weak is the same fire that tempers the strong. These weapons are not light. They will blister your hands. They will weigh you down until your knees tremble. But they are the only tools capable of carving a legacy out of the bedrock of time. Pick them up. Your hands were made for this weight. The battle is not coming. The battle is already here. And when the smoke clears, when the debris of your excuses lies shattered upon the floor of the arena, what remains? Look towards the horizon. There, bleeding through the darkness, comes the first gray light of the sunrise of tomorrow. It is not a gift bestowed upon the lucky. It is a prize torn from the grip of chaos by your own bleeding hands. This is the only true peace a man can ever know. It is not the peace of the cow grazing in the field, oblivious to the butcher's knife. It is the peace of the sentry who has held the line. It is the serenity that comes only after total exhaustion, the quiet knowledge that on this day, you did not yield. You did not bargain with your potential. You emptied the chalice of your effort until not a single drop remained. You have died today, so that you might be born again tomorrow. Do not mistake the accumulation of gold or the applause of the crowd for victory. Those are fleeting shadows. The true triumph is silent. It is the moment you look into the mirror and no longer see the prisoner, but the architect. You see a face carved by the winds of discipline, eyes that have stared into the abyss of your own inadequacy and did not blink. We are all walking toward the grave, This is the tragedy of our existence, but the dignity of man lies in how he walks that path. Do you stumble, dragged by the chains of your past? Or do you march, head high, leaving behind a trail of conquered demons? Tomorrow, the sun will rise again. The ghost of yesterday will return, hungry and rested. The war will begin anew. It is a cycle without end until your final breath. But fear not, for now you know the secret. You know that the pain of the battle is sweeter than the bitterness of regret. Rest now, warrior, but sleep with your sword within reach. The night is passing. You have earned your sunrise.